The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised. You are now entering the all-consuming realm of Shay's Paranormal Chat, where the things that are better left unsaid are actually said.
Shut up and sit down.
You're listening to Shay's Paranormal Chat. Paranormal podcasting done Shay's way. Tons of fun.
Dude, seriously?
A bit sarcastic.
Hashtag investigator, not hunter.
But always real.
Hashtag data, not evidence.
Don't get your panties in a twist.
Oh my god, really?
This is real, raw conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hey Chris, how you doing?
Hey Shay, I'm doing great. It's so great to be back on with you.
I know. It's been 6-7 months it's been a while.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it has been a while.
This time I'm going to ask the question right off the bat because last time I got halfway through the show and was like, hey, in case anybody's listening, what is a shaman? So here we go.
My favorite question because it's so hard to explain.
It is.
Because you have so many different traditions, and every tradition kind of has have similarities or dissimilarities. They've all got their way of doing things, but basically, a person who practices shamanism, he or she communicate with the spirit world, usually through some type of trance. My case, I prefer drumming. I don't use hallucinogens, but some traditions do, which is no problem. But anyway, your job is to talk with the spirits, work with the spirits to help the tribe, or to help the people around you. That's what, obviously that comes from a tribal culture. And so we were able to help people out. You go and find, let's say you have a fever, okay, in the old days, and they would say, because I'd tell you to take 2 aspirin. Back then, they said, what plants should I use? And, maybe the bear spirit would tell them, okay, you need this and this. And they would go back and give their patient that medicine, those plants to help them with headache or whatever. But basically, we meet with the spirits to find out things and then to bring that information back to those around us. We're also here to do healing work and psychic work, whatever our medicine is our skills, our gifts that Spirit gave us, whatever medicine we have. And some people are very good at one thing and not so good in another thing, and so they specialize in things like that. And it all depends on the person. I do psychic and the healing work, and I do the paranormal work and stuff kind of like a master of all, jack of all trades, master of none, basically. But it's you just do you do what you need to do. But basically, and when you're working with people and whatnot, you're using energy from the earth and Father Sky, or however you want to put it. In the East, you might call it the chi. You're using the chi to put energy into people to help with their healing or whatever they need to have.
You use the word psychic. Is it kind of like a medium, or is it feelings? You don't see and hear, you just get the feelings?
It depends on the person.
Okay.
I'm not really a medium, although I do get messages and things like that. I don't know, I was just talking to somebody today, and I used the word seer, and that's probably a pretty good term there for shamans. you see things, you feel things. Now I'm more empathic, so I mean, I go more towards that. That's me as a person. I've seen people practice shamanism who were more mediums, and there's kind of a happy medium too. I get both, a little bit of both, and so that's when I'm talking to spirits. That's basically how I go about it. But yeah, I mean, everybody's kind of got different skills, and some people are really good healers. That's what they focus on. And so, but I've been kind of called to do a little bit of everything. And so that's what I do. And, I still do psychic fairs and things like that sometimes, or somebody calls me up to do a healing tomorrow. I got to go check out this house. This guy thinks that, there's something bad in there. And so we're going to go see what that's all about. And so, yeah, it's just whatever you're called upon to do.
Now, here's a question. If it's been asked, obviously I don't hear everything, but I've never asked you, and it's never been asked on a show we've been together. Do you consider yourself a paranormal investigator also? Or are you crossing into that? Or are you just there with the investigators? Because it's a fine line.
It's a good question. I
see a lot of differences now than I did a year and a half ago in you.
Yeah. I have to kind of wrestle with that sometimes. I mean, I can't become so much of a paranormal investigator that I leave my shamanic roots. And so I have to stay balanced. So I'm more likely the person, basically how I see myself. If I'm an investigator, helping other people investigate, I'm trying to find spirits for them.
Right.
And to commune with them and stuff like that. I mean, I've got a couple of gadgets because I do events sometimes, or I help people lead tours.
K2 the most, right?
Yeah, K2. I got this, and then people are going to laugh at me because it's so cheap, but I love it. This necrophonic or whatnot. Let me see. I got it on my phone. And, it's like wait a minute. So I'll be able to show people. Let's wait for it to come up. So, yes, the necrophonic. And it makes noises and stuff like that. And it's like, it's like
that's one I've never heard of.
Yeah, it's like there's another one they sell. It's only like $12, but it's kind of works like a geoport. It doesn't have the noise of the spirit boxes, which I hate that noise. I'd rather not hear him do that. Because I'm too lazy to sit there and listen to that stuff. But yeah, I'm terrible. I don't like to review tape or VPs. No, I would rather go to the dentist, thank you, than sit there and look at hours of tape.
Hard.
It's hard. And I tell you what, the people that do it, my hats are off to you, because that's a cool thing.
We've done 3 investigations this week.
Yeah.
So trust me, I feel you there. I'm not a medium. I'm not a shaman. I'm not a psychic. So all I have are the tools, and I have to review. I don't have a choice.
Right. You got to work with what you got.
That's
but
right.
but you're so important, and that's very important. I'm not in the business of trying to prove anything. I believe it. That's all that matters to me. That I believe it, and the people I'm trying to help believe it. And I don't care what skeptics say and whatnot. And I mean, I respect them and everything like that. It's like it doesn't mean anything to me.
Exactly.
But but that's not my job. You got people like you. That's your job to find these things that will help. One day prove all this is going on. As the tools get better, the more you'll be able to pinpoint stuff, and that's really a neat thing.
I'm a believer and a skeptic all in one. I believe in the paranormal. I'm more skeptical of people, and that's my downfall.
I don't know if it's a downfall or not, Shay. You should be, never, until you get to know somebody, you don't know what people are up to. I have just watched a few things the last month or so. I'm kind of sitting back a little bit. I've been posting a lot of stuff and been kind of quiet. And I just, I watched the stuff going out there. And I said, geez, come on. this just gets so silly. People fighting about stuff or worrying about what person said this or what person said that. And, it was like, my friend betrayed me and all this stuff. I'm like, oh, my goodness.
I hear you there.
It's like, no, you don't need that drama. Shoot, I'm too old to play on that kind of stuff. So yeah, until I get to know somebody, I mean, I'll work with anybody. I got no problem with that. But if you're in it for an impure reason, I'm here to help spirits and the people who get affected by spirits and anybody who works with the spirits. That's what I do. If you're here to be a TV star or make yourself something, turn yourself into some grandiose figure, then you're in for the wrong thing. I don't care if people on TV and stuff like that's great, but you gotta maintain your integrity. You don't sell yourself out. You don't make shit up just so people pay attention to you. You know, you just got to be yourself, and you'll get where you need to go if you just be you.
So, but people are impatient, or they want to take shortcuts, and that's where I have an issue. You know, it's like I have two roles as an investigator. One, when we help clients, that's something different. But when it's private stuff we do, then it's to prove something to us. I have nothing to prove to anybody else.
Right.
I never use the word evidence. I put stuff out.
Smart.
I do not believe any of this is evidence. And I put it out there as, hey, this is interesting. Look what we caught. And we need to catch at least 2 things at a time before we even say, hey, this is interesting.
Right.
You know, so people either love me or hate me for it, but I'm not going to change. I am who I am. So.
That's how you got to be. You know, people say we'll put stuff on there. Yeah, check out this great new evidence. This is it, man. As soon as you put that on there, here come the trolls, and the trolls are going to get you because you said evidence. And you got to say what? If you say you can do this, you can do that. You damn well be able to do it because they're going to eat you up. And you know, when somebody puts out, when people put stuff out and says, "Hey, I don't know what it is. Just, you know, enjoy."
Yeah,
I'm cool with that. So, you know, I'm not saying it's anything. You guys, you know, decide what you think it is. Yep. Yeah, when people say they got the answer,
yeah. The second somebody says they know everything, that is such a turn off for me. No, we don't.
Oh yeah.
We can't prove anything, so we don't know anything.
Now, if you had that proof, would you share? I mean, let's say you had a video of a spirit apparating and speaking to you. If you had that, would you share that on Facebook? Hell no. You're gonna go to someplace else, and you know that people who are, you know, are interested in this stuff. Yeah.
I might anyways, because I truly don't care what people think.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about you've got let's say you get the one thing that people always been looking for. You know, why put it on Facebook? You know, I'm serious. I wouldn't put it on Facebook. Not at first. I wouldn't. I'd have other people check it out.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
That kind of thing. I would never just throw it on Facebook. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't just be like, hey, we do that. So.
Because, you know, plus you got to go through the part trying to repeat it. Now, you know, you got to take the scientific method, you know, to it, which is, can you repeat what's happening? And, you know, fours and afters, kinds of things, you know. But yeah, I wouldn't share that on Facebook. If I thought I had something really good, I wouldn't do it. That's tough. Me.
I can tell between your weather and my weather. We're skipping a little bit. Sacred Grounds on Vidi Space, the haunted .space. I think I got that right.
You did.
You want to explain what that is? You're probably better at it than me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to explain. What it is, because people ask me, I say, what is it? Well, it's kind of like a Netflix. Not Netflix. It's kind of like a cross between Netflix and YouTube. Basically, it's a system of channels set up on a website. Overall, it's called Vidi Space. And to get there, you go to www.vidi.space. Not .org, not .com, not .net, .space for some odd reason. And you go there and you get a selection of windows, what they call spaces. You have we're on the haunted space, and I think there's like the wrestling space, you know, for wrestling stuff, pro wrestling type of stuff, horror, that type of thing. So you got different spaces to choose, and you click on haunted space, and you get my show, which is called on Sacred Ground. Here, I gotta see. I have to look at my little banner here. You know, it says I see it.
I have lists like taped all over the side of my stuff. I
use this when I have a table someplace. I use that. Otherwise, it stays on my messy desk. But so you go that, and you also got you know, Ghost Crier has a show on there.
Yeah.
Dan Class, his group, Dan's the owner of the Hinsdale House, and he's in Iowa quite a bit.
Is that one inside these walls?
Yeah, it's inside these walls. For some reason, Iowa, Dan and I are always in Iowa, and it's like we're honorary Iowans, I think, because it seems like we're always in some type of event or some type of.
Yeah, he's New York, but I always think of you as an Iowan. I really do, but you're not.
Yeah, you know, it's weird.
Is it Ohio? Where are you?
I'm in Illinois. I'm down by.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm southwestern Illinois. You know, I never set foot in Iowa till 2016, till we went West Forsyth. You know, from from Paranormal Filler and Scarefest Radio. I did an event for our school. I saw it, and I'll get back to the video space thing, but I'm on a story now.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
So, I know I get off on tangents.
That's what this show is about. So you're
okay, tangents. We cool then. Yeah. So anyway, there's a show called Ghost Stalkers with John Tenney, Chad Lindbergh, and Dave Roundtree. Okay, I was only had 6 episodes. It was meant to be a filler for something on Destination America. And I was watching, so it's actually probably one of my favorite, in my top 3 of ghost shows that I like. And I don't like to watch them all the time, but that's one of my favorites. It's kind of different. And they went to the Farrar School. So, let's see. Yeah, it was 2016. So Wes and I decided we wanted to, try our hand at getting out there a little bit. I'd been on TV once or twice, and then, so I was getting
3 or 4 times.
No, just twice so far.
Oh, really?
On network TV. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, twice. Maybe a third time. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll see what happens.
And a half,
yeah. And so, anyway, I watched this and the thing about Farrar School. I said, I got to go there. I just felt drawn to it. And so I told Wes, we got to go there. He goes, okay, we'll do a thing up there. So I talked to the Olivers up there who own it, made the arrangements. And when we were talking, I said, man, we need a bigger pull, than just you and me. Because, we're not usually up that far. So now Elizabeth had just, come out the first season of Ghost of Shepherdstown. As Elizabeth had come on, so and I was co-hosting that night, where I was on for a little bit before she came on, just for some stuff. And I was in chat, and she and I got talking in chat, and then, he interviewed us. It was actually, the first time he interviewed was the night that Ghost of Shepherdstown premiered. So she was on that. Then, we went right to the TV and watched Ghost of Shepherdstown. So we'd gotten to know her, and we messaged, we'd talk. She was interested in shamanism, things like that. And so I told Wes, I said, let's call Elizabeth. Let's see if Elizabeth will go. Thinking, well, big chance, but why not? Sure enough, she said, yeah, I'll come up. She drove up from Denver all the way up to Franklin. We get a place in Des Moines, went to Farrar School, and she was with no guarantees. I said, Elizabeth, I'll give you half the gate. That's all I can promise you. And it was like $150. But she didn't complain. I mean, she drove. She did her own thing. She took care of her hotel and stuff like that. And just the most wonderful person in the world.
Very smart woman too.
She's very, very intelligent, horribly intelligent woman. She is the president of VidiSpace, and so that's why she kind of fits in the story too. Because that's actually how I ended up on VidiSpace. But so we go up and we do, and then I meet Will and his wife Jack.
Awesome, I love him too.
CNH Paranormal, and it's like there's this tree in the front yard. If anybody's been there, there's a huge oak tree, big old medicine tree, tree spirit. I mean, just powerful.
I saw it on the video.
And
one of them. So
Will is just drawn to this tree, and I guess that's probably what I think that's probably what drew me up there. Well, for some reason, is that that's what I was interested in it, and I felt the reason. Sometimes you get drug into these things, you don't know why, and this is why. So I get there because I get there and we pull up, and I'm looking and I say, "Oh my God, look at that tree!" And Will started talking to me about it. So when I get to we meet the Conkles, Will and Jacqueline, and so we're friends, really good friends, and so we decided we're going to have another event up there, and that was this last summer, and it went really good. And Will finally, and as you saw in the VidiSpace, Will got to connect with the tree. It was one of the most heartwarming things I'd ever seen. I mean, I was crying and stuff, and because he finally got to feel that energy, that in that consciousness that this tree has. And I know it sounds, people say, "Oh yeah, that's bullshit." No, you'd have to experience it. You got to be there. And there were people there who weren't believers in that. They were going, "Yeah, man, that's really cool." I'm so glad I came. And it was just a cool thing. And so that's how you get drawn into things like that. So, that's how I end up in Iowa for the first time. And ever since then, I keep, you say, you seem like an Iowan. I say, yeah, I almost feel like an Iowan. But yeah, I just keep getting drawn back. And so, and I'm cool with that. I like going to Iowa. So, Iowa and I like each other, and Iowans and I like each other. And there's so many good people, so many good paranormal people up in Iowa. I've met so many different teams and individuals who are just into this stuff, and it's always fun to come up.
It's a especially for paranormal, that's all I can speak of.
Yeah.
Very welcoming, warming group. They're they welcome everybody. It's,
do. I mean, I have to say that because it is, from having never been there, it's like, my wife will go, "You're going to Iowa again?" I said, yeah. And I think Dan's wife tells him the same thing. "You're going to Iowa again?" "Yeah, they keep calling us back." But, okay, so I explained the story of how I got involved with Iowa and why, how cool it is, and there's so many cool people and helping people find trees and stuff like that. It's really cool. And, but, so anyway, I'm back to the Vidi space. So anyway, yeah, it's you go to Vidi space and Vidi.space, and you go to, haunted space and click on that. And then you get a list of the shows, and you go. Now it does cost money. I will say that. I think subscription's down to $9.99 a month, something like that. It might be a little cheaper. So anyway, you go to the website, and it tells you all about these things. And you don't just get into haunt; you get to all the spaces. So if you're into horror stuff, there's some neat, real neat documentary stuff like that. Yeah, really good stuff. And so you get to all of that, and you can also get it on Amazon. If you have a Fire Stick, you can watch it on the television. So I do that. So it's kind of cool, to see yourself on the television.
That's how I watched you today.
Elizabeth had said that, if I ever got anything on film, that she wanted me to, send her the tape. So I sent her a couple of things. Now I don't have my own video equipment, and what I have is I've got something now that might work. I haven't tried it out yet. Actually, she said it would work, but it's so much easier for somebody else to bring their stuff as far as I'm concerned. And, but I'll probably have to start using it for too long. But so I'm going to shoot one at when we're up in we're staying in Davenport, Iowa, and we got a place to go to. We'll shoot one there, and I'm going to shoot another one probably in December at a local place here that I can actually, I mostly do my stuff outside, but this is on the very bottom floor of this old hotel that's haunted as hell. And we've brought, different kinds of like cave spirits, ground spirits down there in the very bottom. So we're going to work that. So I try to get, I should have a couple more on there. She doesn't really, I don't have to have as many. I'm kind of a filler, which I'm perfectly whenever like whenever you get one, send it to me and we'll get it on sometime. I say, yeah, that's fine. But next year I'm going to Malvern for sure with Josh Hurd and some of those guys, and Dave Glidden and Mike Dan class is coming up for that. And so we're going to do that, and we'll do it there. And, I've got some other, hopefully Villisca, with Johnny. We can see if we can swing that, and some other place. I got some
Johnny
local
Hauser. For those of you who do not know who Johnny is, but Johnny Hauser.
I get in the conversation. I forget other people sometimes because I know you knew what I was talking to. Sorry, guys. I should do that.
That's what I'm here for. You keep talking, and I'll interrupt and add things.
And translate and whatnot. I got some really killer places around here that really nobody knows much about. They'll be coming on too. Places to are just one of the places. I won't say the name of it because I don't have it. I don't have it for sure yet. But it's got the second oldest house west of the Mississippi on it. It's built in 1749.
Wow.
And it's these old cabins around and stuff like that. And it's an amazing inside and outside. You got the spirits outside that are dancing around the elemental spirits, and so it's just a wow place. So it's really cool. More to come. There's other stuff going on too. So, and I'm just like right now, almost glad it's wintertime so I can slow down with other stuff and get things planned. I'm trying to write a book, and I've got some Mike Ricksecker, Haunted Road Media. Ricksecker.
Yeah, Mike was on last week.
Was he? Yeah, Mike's a great guy, and I've done stuff with Mike before. He's going to publish it. He goes, I sent him the early stuff that I had, and he likes it. So he's going to publish it. Just me sitting my butt down and writing it. I'm too lazy to do it. So, but, if I'm recuperating from getting my hip fixed, then I'll have time to write. So hopefully I'll have it done by very early spring. I'll have it ready for the next year's events and conferences and things like that. So
nice, yeah.
See,
that'd be an interesting read.
Oh yeah, because I just I'm not telling just one big long Coyote Chris bio. It's going to be a bunch of different disjointed talking about certain things, and that's what's just my opinion on stuff, or this is how I learned this. Just off the wall. It's coherent and everything. Don't worry, you'll be able to understand it, but it's just going to be very or very specific to a certain question or idea or whatnot. I find I can do that. It maintains my attention.
Before we run out of time, let's talk about your drums and your singing and your chanting,
okay?
Which have to do with your show On Sacred Ground. Let's talk about why you do it. How about it's simple because we don't have too much time.
Good question. Coach Norma, I've been studying shamanism, practicing shamanism for 26 years now. And so that's always, the drum is always part of that. It's used in ceremony. It's used for meditation. It's used for a shamanic journey. Repetitive drumming causes your alpha waves to decrease, your beta waves to decrease, and your beta waves increase, which you can go into that more of a stupor sort of effect, or a meditative state, which allows you to journey to talk to the spirits. And it's always, it's just something I've always carried me. And so one day I decided, I got to thinking, I said, wait a minute. And I think it's at one place, it was at that one place I was telling you about, in Missouri. And we have all this activity going on outside. And so I said, hey, everybody, come here. We got everybody, and we circled up. And I started drumming, and I sang a song. I forgot which song I sang, but it was a calm evening. No clouds or anything like that, no wind, and we were singing, and we all announced who we were and started singing again, and the trees started moving, like they were rustling in the wind, and there wasn't any wind. And I thought, damn, I'm onto something here. And so you stop and think about it. The spirits are attracted to the drum. And so they will come and see what's going on. If they like what's going on, they'll show some sign of appreciation. When I was at the Hinsdale House in Western New York, now there, that was Seneca tribe area where the Hinsdale House is, and it's in the Enchanted Mountains. It's not a huge mountain range, but it's got these pretty rolling hills, and where we were at, there's a big hills behind us. Roll back into the distance, and we were drumming and did our singing and talking to the spirits and telling the spirits why we were here, and we meant all the respect. And it's about showing respect to the spirits, that we're not here to cause any problems. We just want to hear their story. We want to talk to them. We want to commune with them. So we got done doing that, and they caught this on tape. There was drumming in the hills in answer. The spirits drummed back. And I'm like, yeah, so I'm like,
yeah.
Actually, I don't know if you knew this or not. I don't know because you can watch that. The one we did it at Hinsdale, Dan recorded it, and he something happened with the quality. It wasn't good enough to put on the air because it was supposed to be on the video space on Sacred Ground, and it wasn't just good enough. And so, but Elizabeth said we could do what we wanted with it. So it's on Dan's YouTube. And actually, if you go to the easiest way to probably find it, you can go to YouTube and type in Dan Klaes, Klaes, and go to his spot, and you can find it. It's Coyote Chris, does something. I forgot how he worded it. Or you can go to my website, www.coyotechris.com, and there's a page called About, which is my bio and stuff. You go to the very bottom of that page. The link is there, too. You look at it there. It's a pretty neat video because we were out looking for the Pukwudgie, which are like the little people of the native lore in that area. And every area, every tribe has kind of a different story about the little people, just like you in Europe. I mean, it's the same thing. That's why that's why I say elementals, because that's what they are. But yeah, the wee folk. And so we actually got on the Geoport, got it saying Pukwudgie twice. Which, I'm about the geoports, but when I get repetitive answers, excuse me. I mean, it's just, then you're paying attention to it. But that's how I got the drum involved, and that's how I got the drumming and singing. And when you circle everybody up before you start something like this, an investigation of this sort, we do an exercise to get everybody focused, to get their energy up, to keep them safe. Anytime you're investigating, okay, what is the spirit? A spirit is energy. Your energy. You strengthen your energy, then you're less likely to have problems with a spirit that wants to mess with you. And usually it's better for the empaths, because the empaths ones usually get at the worst in those types of situations because they feel and they don't know how to protect themselves. It can get a little rough. So yeah, I mean, we're all focused and ready to go, and when you're in a circle, you're safe. I mean, because you got all this energy, and it goes around you. So that's why people draw circles for to cast spells, in the Wiccan world and wizard world, and everything the Native Americans always done in a circle, because it's the people together and the energy together, creating a family. So yeah, it's what you do. But it just seems to work because they respond to that. They say every time we've done this, filmed it, done it, seen it, something's happened. We've gotten some kind of really neat response. We did it at Farrar, and we got this real
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, where that voice is coming through. That real light female voice is coming through on the geoport. But this is not in the this is not on the show. But the next night we were inside, and Dan had the same geoport, but he had it on different frequency, and we were up in the upstairs in the auditorium, and that same exact voice came through. It said my name.
See, I like when that happens. The same, yeah.
If you get this disjointed, it could be anything. I don't swear on those things, but if it's an intelligent or repetitive and something that you're actually looking for, then you've got something. So that's the way I see it. But yeah, I'm real skeptical of that stuff normally. But I get that. I understand that. Yeah. I trust myself more than anything else, but it's sure fun when like it says Buck Wudgie twice, or the next night it calls to you, same tone of voice, the same voice calls you
by name. Yeah.
Yeah, name. Yeah. So
that's pretty interesting. Now, here's a question that I don't already know the answer to. Are you actually Native American or just practice?
No, I may have a little bit of blood. I'm not related to any tribe. That actually used to kind of bother me because I was called it. I didn't go looking for this stuff.
Yeah. It
came and got me, and I didn't watch Dances with Wolves or Thunderheart. I said, "Whoa, that'd be cool to be medicine, man." It came and got me, and again, I used to worry about that because I don't want to appropriate something that's not mine. And I get that.
That's why I'm asking. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like I can't say no. And if you'll be mad at me, you can be mad. I understand, but there's no saying no to this.
You're not portraying to be something you're not. You're just respecting.
Yeah. Oh, I try to. Yeah, I do everything respectfully. I ask my teacher.
Yeah.
Our guide in this thing from the Northwest Coast is okay. I talked to him about this stuff, about going outside and doing these things and talking. So he said, that's fine as long as you bring in the light and you're respectful. And I have to wear the right colors. From the. That's
I know very little. I should know more. My son's grandfather's full Wampanoag.
Cool.
So I should know more, but I know just a little bit to understand what you're saying.
Yeah. And
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really interesting. It's like, have I caught hell before? Yeah, I have. But I used to worry. Like I said, I can't. I mean, all I can say is that I'm not here to offend anybody, to steal anything.
Yeah.
I was approached, and I refuse to say no because in my heart I know it's what I'm supposed to be doing. But I don't dress up. You see me. I don't dress up to dress up Native American.
I've never heard you say it either. That's why I ask.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And I wear I wear beads.
For listeners later,
Yeah, I wear beads, but those beads my teacher gave me, and so I wear those. And otherwise, I wear like my friend. Let's see if I can find this without destroying my desk. My friend Tina Marie Ronan made this. I don't know if you can see it very well.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty.
It's tamarine, and it's got
blue?
wooden. Huh?
Is it blue? Yeah.
Green.
Oh, green. It looks
blue screen. Yeah, and then it's white stripes. And it's got bone, not human bone. I'm not voodoo.
And careful on radio, kids will get hate mail.
Yeah, and this lady makes this real neat stuff, and I'm plugging her, which is cool. She's really cool. She's really good.
Say it again.
Tina Marie Ronan. She's usually in stuff down around the Indiana and down in here. But she makes stuff. When she makes stuff like this, she puts on there, and she will quiz you too. This is for practitioners only. She won't sell it just to make because I think it looks cool. They won't do it. She's got all kinds of stuff for that.
The right reason.
Yeah, she is, and she's very interested in shamanism, so she's going to be probably coming to see me for too long, and we'll be talking about it. But yeah, it's just I just wear what I need to wear, but otherwise I don't wear feathers, I don't wear buckskin, I don't. One time I had a student. She's probably one of the. I'm not real big on teaching that because I don't like people and stuff, but I don't have the time to do it right. But I had an apprentice one time, and she bops in and out of it sometimes, but she's about the one I can handle pretty well. And a group over in St. Louis wanted to go up the Cahokia Mounds. The Cahokia Mounds is a big mound group down in this part of Illinois. It's just about a half hour from my house. But it was the biggest Native American city in North America. 20,000 people. It has these huge dirt mounds and things like that. It's a beautiful place. And there's one real big one. It's a ceremony mound. They call it Monk's Mound because the monks used to have a house on top of it. But it was their ceremonial spot. And this group from St. Louis wanted to do a ceremony up there. So I thought about it. I said, okay, I'm just going to keep it real generic. I'm not going to, that's what I would do anyway. I didn't bring any sage or anything like that. I used tobacco. I used a Cherokee thing. And so we came to do that. So I'm standing there, and I always dress in jeans and T-shirts and that type of stuff. So I'm standing there with Autumn, my apprentice, and I see these people start milling around. We're standing there on top. I said, I'd meet you up there. They know what I look like. Just a couple of people knew my reputation. I talked to them on the phone. And they kept looking around. I said, I'm looking. I said, what are these people? What are they missing here? I've got a big bag. I'm standing here. And Autumn leans over and she goes, I think they expect buckskins and a headdress. I said, you're probably right. So I said, hey, here I am. I'm just me. They're looking for the show. And that's not me. I'm not the show. I try to be as humble as I can. I'm supposed to do it and leave it at that.
You're very down to earth, very humble. I have always found that since day one, before we met. Like the first time I ever even heard of you. You're a very good soul. You really are.
I appreciate that. That's if people remember me that way, I will be happy.
Yes.
I should be happy. Anything else? I remember what else.
They will remember you that way.
Unless I turn evil or something like that. No, I won't.
Yeah,
The temptation to that is always there. To do.
Let's not do that.
Yeah. No. I don't think I have the capabilities anymore. If I ever did. We all have a dark side. We have a teaching group. Yeah. We have a teaching group we have up here once a month that I put on, and just talk about everything. And
is that at Mineral Springs? Is that
it's Mineral Springs, and Alton, which is one of the most haunted places in Alton, in the whole area, as well. But it's also has a real cool metaphysical shop called It's Raining Zen. Yes. My friend Don and Dave Nunley run that, and so good, wonderful people. So if you're ever in Alton, please stop in. But we have a group and we meet, and it's just, come and it don't cost nothing, that sort of thing. And it's good for everybody to get together and have a peer group. But we start talking about our shadow selves. And I'm make sure I keep this in another time. But everybody has a shadow self. All right. That part of you that you don't like that comes out and you wonder where that came from. That,
mine comes out too much. Let's just go on. Sorry.
It does happen. No, you're right. It does happen to all of it. But the thing, part about when you're walking a spiritual path is you got to come to grips with it. You got to come to know it. And it usually comes with a lot of emotional pain.
Baggage.
You have to deal with that baggage. Yeah. You're talking to things that people put in you from the time you were very small. Yep. Those fears, those experiences that it turns you a certain way. People have been abused, that type of stuff. Whatever. That's what creates your shadow self, that part that you don't like. It's like you really hate somebody, you don't know why. I guarantee you that's because it's inside you and you don't like it. You just don't realize why you hate it. That's one of the big telltale signs of what that is. But you have to face it. Now can you make it go away? No. It's always part of you.
You keep saying face it, but is it kind of like, I'm interrupting again, I know.
No.
I'm translating.
Yeah.
Is it more like you have to recognize and accept in order to
Yes, and you have to deal with it. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to go in and let go of those feelings that are attached to them, and that takes the power away from them. That way, once you release those feelings, then you see a situation. You go into a situation in the past, this would have made me angry, but now you know it, and it would have made you angry because you hadn't dealt with this. You've dealt with it. You see the potential. It's like, no, I know what to do. Either I'm going to go this way and avoid it. If I can't avoid it, I must stay very mindful of what I'm doing and not get hooked. Because there's always that one person, who's given you this hell your whole life, and they know they know what buttons to push, and they know what to hook into, and you neutralize that. Like, I don't like your glasses. Where before, what's wrong with my glasses? Oh, your self-confidence goes crashing to the ground. Where and once you've faced it and you've looked at it, that's a potential trap for you saying, I don't give a shit what you think about my glasses, and walk away. That's an example we used last night. But yeah, it's anything like that where so you have to, as a spiritual person or any type of person, when people can't take things away from you, they can't hook you. There are situations that you can handle where you couldn't in the past because you've looked honestly at yourself. You looked in that mirror and really looked at yourself hard and say, I'm not going to let that happen anymore. And you work on it, you make it happen. Then you've won and you get to move on from there. It's always there. It's always part of you. And, but yeah, you can control.
It kind of reminds me of that simple saying, you can't control other people's actions, but you can control how you react to their actions.
The only person the only person you can control in this life is you. You can't control everybody else.
It's not as easy as I make it sound because everybody that really knows me, I have issues. But you start small and work your way up.
If you know you have the issues, then you know that's the first step. If you deny you have the issues, then you're screwed. Yeah. You're doomed to keep reliving it the rest of your life until you decide that you're gonna be brave enough to face it. So, but you just keep moving on, and you just boom, that's not gonna happen to me anymore. I'm just gonna let it go, and they can't get you. That's nice to have that freedom. My mom could get me, but after a while, no, you can't get me anymore.
I think it's probably always a work in progress.
It is. Oh, you've got to be doing it all the time. You always got to be on. You never. And you fall off the. God knows I get off of I fall off the trail sometimes. I realize I see myself doing stuff that I know better.
And then pull yourself back.
Pull yourself back, and it's not so much that you do trip or get off the path because that happens. It's how quickly you react to it and get back on. If you let yourself meander and crash through trees and off a cliff, then okay, you got to come back around, and start again. Basically, if you come off a little bit and you catch up, you realize who you are, and it's like, oh, I can't do that. That's why I have to sit back sometimes. Instead of being the mighty ghost hunter, I need to get back to my shaman roots and stay there.
Yeah. To who you
and
are.
I can still hunt ghosts, but or do paranormal work, but it cannot be who I am.
No.
Who I am is what my medicine is, which is the shamanism. And that's what works for me. Okay, if you want to know what I'm doing or you want to see what's going on with me, it's www.coyoteChris.com. Facebook, my personal page is Christopher Sutton. You'll see me leaning on a drum, my on common ground picture. Also, my like page, whatever you call those things, is Coyote Chris Sutton. I'm on Instagram at Coyote Chris S. Twitter at Coyote Chris S. And that's about all the social media I'm on. But usually you can find what I'm doing, if you look at those things. My webpage is probably the most accurate. Sometimes I get real wild about advertising for myself, and sometimes I don't. It just depends how busy I am.
We have Mike Ricksecker, and I am so looking forward to this. We're going to be talking shadow people. So here we go. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Shay. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, doing pretty well. Just I'm cooking some chicken for dinner. We're having some salads and.
I love the fact that you can talk about this stuff. It's so easy off the cuff and cook chicken.
Absolutely, we do it all.
Yep.
Always willing to talk about shadow people, since that was one of my very first experiences, something that's been very influential in my path. So what would you like to know?
It might have been your first experience. It might have been your second. You're not really sure, but start with your experience with the shadow person.
That's a good memory, yeah. Because I say it's probably my first experience. And I said that for a long time, that it was my first experience. And I was like, well, but when I was a kid, when I was younger, like around 5 or 6, there was another thing. And then, I was kind of thinking about it, a couple months ago. I was like, well, there was another little thing too that could have been. But I know for sure, the shadow person experience when I was about 8 or 9 years old. There's no mistaking that. And basically what happened was I woke up in the middle of the night, and at first it's going to sound like a typical story, but it's not. Woke up in the middle of the night, and I saw, standing in the corner of my bedroom, between the window that was on one wall and the closet on the other, was this tall, dark figure. I thought originally at that time that it was an intruder. Somebody had broken into the house, and they were in my bedroom, and they were probably going to murder me. That was my first idea. So, I tried to scream, and I couldn't. And, my mouth was open, trying to scream, nothing came out. And then this thing did the weirdest thing. It actually came up to my bed, leaned over, and then it grabbed my arms and crossed them across my body. I'm still trying to scream, can't. And then it just ran off down the hall and into the hall closet, and it was gone. Finally found my voice, found my legs, got up, ran out of the bed, and into my parents' room. Of course, they tried to tell me, as any parent would, no, you had a bad dream. That's all it was. When I knew for a fact that this thing was real, that I had actually seen it. We can get into the whole sleep paralysis bit of it at some point if you'd like to. I just want to point out that during this experience, I was not paralyzed.
You can't even see me nodding. I'm like agreeing. You can't see it though.
Yeah, I was able to move my. Obviously, I was able to open my mouth to try to scream. Just nothing came out. That was a vocal cord thing, not a muscular thing. And then I was able to turn my head and watch it run off down the hall. And oh, by the way, my arms did cross in front of my body because the thing, picked up my arms and crossed them across my body. So, so that was my first shadow person experience. And I had another as a kid when I was when I was 13 years old. We had moved from where we were living in Massachusetts to Ohio, which is where we were originally from. And we're just moving into the house, unpacking boxes, getting my new room all ready and all that stuff. And it kept seeming like there was somebody standing at my door, watching me, checking me out, what I was doing. And then anytime I turned to look to see who was there, it was gone. It would disappear. It would just run off. It's like, what in the world is that? Because it was, there wasn't anybody else there. It wasn't my sister or parents or whatever. And this happened several times. And so I ended up asking my mom, I was like, hey, Mom, I keep seeing this happening. And she admitted, at that time, I guess because I'm a little bit older, she was like, yeah, I've seen it too. And okay, well, Mom sees it. So I started calling it Tom, like peeping Tom, because that's what it would do. Like peep into my room while I was doing something, and then would take off when I spotted it. After a couple of months, it stopped. It was no longer around. So I just kind of chalked it up to, something that was there, that was lingering around, that was curious about us, deemed that we were okay, and then went about its business. And the 5 years that I was there, I never saw it again. So those are a couple of my early shadow person experiences. And then, of course, investigating the paranormal over the last however many years, I've seen a number of other shadows as well.
You've been investigating, at least 20 years?
Yeah, my first, you could call official paranormal investigation, when I was about 15 years old, and we were at a friend's house. And I didn't know anything about investigating the paranormal or being a ghost hunter or whatever. I mean, I'd read some Hans Holzer. That was a book that my mother gifted me. But I didn't have the concept together at that point. That's what it was that he was doing in that book. I was in a small town, so anything you could get your hands on was limited. We didn't have the internet back then. There weren't the TV shows, none of that. So, I just had an interest in the subject. And, I ate up any little bit that I could get a hold of, even, Amityville Horror, which is fictional. I was like, oh, I want to go to that house and see what happens, because it is a real house. So we're at my friend's house. My friend David and I are visiting our friend Lori. She lived in one of the older houses in downtown Worcester, Ohio. And she starts saying, well, I think my room is haunted. Of course, immediately my interest is piqued. Like, oh, okay, so what's going on? And so she's telling us about how anytime that she tries to hang something up on this one wall in her bedroom, it always falls down. It could be a couple minutes later, a couple hours later, next day, whatever. It always falls down. And then she talked about how, there's a old family cemetery in the backyard and stuff like that. So we agreed to go upstairs and check it out, see what's going on with this wall. And so we're up there, we're checking it out, trying to, I'm looking at trying to, tack something up on there, and she's telling us a little bit more about the wall and all this stuff. Nothing's really happening at first, so my friend David, and I didn't know this about him at the time, but he's extremely sensitive, and he decides to touch the wall and just put his hand flat on the wall. and all of a sudden he just turned this bright red and started sweating profusely. And I was like, whoa, what the heck is going on with my friend? I'd never seen this from him before. He ended up going around the house trying to see if there were any more hot spots like that around the house. So, that's the first little paranormal investigation back in it was my sophomore year. So, what was that, 1990, something like that?
Wow.
So, yeah.
Can we go back to, I remember the Black something church, the crawler.
Oh, yeah, Black Bear Church, the crawler.
Although it wasn't on video, the audio was. But I remember quite a few points being brought up, and
You're fine. You're fine.
I tend to try to categorize or label things when it comes to shadow people. Just like spirits, just like ghosts, there's different types. There's assholes, there's non-assholes, there's different, But I do, there's crawlers, there's lurkers, but it's just different categories of the same thing.
Yeah, and we as humans try to categorize things. That's what we do as humans. Yeah, we as humans try to, do whatever we can to categorize things. And, I can understand that with, the shadow people. It's part of us trying to learn and understand what different things are. So we think that if we categorize these things, then we can start to try to deduce what some of them are. Try to find like characteristics and mannerisms and things like that. So yeah, the crawler at Black Bear Church. I mean, that's a different kind of one where it has the properties of being dark, of being shadowy. All of that, its arms and legs.
Does not mean it's a demon, people.
Does not mean it's a demon.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, it does not mean it's a demon. It is, more nefarious, for sure, because it is it's at least trying to scare people, because that's what it was trying to do that night down there in Black Bear Church. I mean, it was circling us, it was throwing stuff around, at least once. There was a plastic bottle that was down there that it was throwing around. We heard some banging on metal, and there's, the
Mountain Dew bottle.
Yeah, there's the Mountain Dew bottle. There's, the railing down there that I think it was banging on a little bit. I got some weird electrical fluctuations on the audio.
I saw that.
Yeah, and there's no electricity out there whatsoever. I mean,
so can we pause for a second?
Yeah.
I know I'm a rude host. I interrupt.
Oh, you're fine. Your show.
So there was actual stuff going on. The Mountain Dew bottle is being kicked by nobody that's living. You have the metal banging, and you physically. At least one or two people physically see this crawler, which otherwise known as a shadow person. It's just a type. It's just a crawler, And then you get this mechanical interference on the recorder. So,
do you consider that video?
Huh?
So you paid good attention to that video.
I do when it comes, because I had my own shadow person experience, so I paid very good attention to every single one of your shadow people.
Okay.
I had my own experience that I still question. So anything to do with that, especially from people that I think understand and I respect. But do you think the mechanical interference was coincidental? Do you think that the shadow entity, can we call it, had something to do with it? I mean, to me, that's just too much of a coincidence, but you know what they say about coincidences.
Right. I mean, more than likely it did. We try to say that a lot of these entities and spirits and ghosts, have a form of energy about them. We're all energy, and energy can't be destroyed; it can just be transformed. And so, when we pass on or whatever, then that energy still exists. So, it's possible, like with the crawler, that its energy was, how it was manifesting and all that, could have had an effect like that on the audio recorder. Because that is the type of, buzzing that you get when, like something like a cell phone is going off or whatever. And
it was even weirder than that. And I am considered a skeptic in the field, believe it or not, even though I'm a true believer. People consider me a skeptic, and that caught my attention. Just the coincidence of when it happened, what you guys are saying. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I don't think it was a coincidence.
Wolf wants to know, can shadow people follow you home?
Well, yeah. Any entity, if they, if they have free will, but any entity could follow you home. I mean, I've heard stories from like my friend Kat Gash, who has a book out with Haunted Road Media. She was just visiting a historic location, very, very innocent, and just kind of walking by. And when she got home that night, it was her cats were just going crazy because of something that followed her from there. So a shadow person could too, sure. But like with us, like when we do our paranormal investigations and all that, we make a point to turn around and let those entities know, hey, under no circumstances are you to follow us home. You stay here.
Have you ever been hurt by a shadow figure, or ever personally, not online, but personally known somebody that has actually been physically harmed by a shadow person?
Myself, no. I did have that one that interacted with me, manipulated my arms and all that, but it did not actually hurt me. It just did something really weird to me. But I have heard that there have been some shadow people attacks and people that have gotten hurt, scratched, what have you, from shadow people. That's not to say that all shadow people do that. And I think that's something that gets misconstrued and some misinformation out there, because I've heard people, some people that others that have written books on shadow people, and I do have a shadow person book coming out. They'll say stuff like shadow people, the darkest, the most dark, and stuff like that. And it's like, well, maybe some are, but not all. Just like with people, there's some evil people,
yeah,
but not all. So yeah, a shadow person, can, touch you and hurt you, but not all of them do that.
So I've heard you say over and over again that you believe, for the most part, you usually describe them as interdimensional beings. Sometimes you say supernatural interdimensional beings. So can you describe what you mean by that and dumb it down for me?
Well, I mean, supernatural is a term we put out there for anything that's a little bit different or above nature than what we're usually used to. Something we can't really explain within our typical realm. As far as interdimensional, I mean, you would have to believe in more than one dimension to begin with. So, well, I mean, you kind of do anyway, because, we already know of, 4 dimensions that we're in right now. So one dimension, which is basically a line. Second dimension is a plane. You kind of think of that like a piece of paper. The third dimension is a 3D object, something you can hold in your hand. The fourth is time, which we're currently in and we're running in. And so you always, kind of look down onto the others from the one that you're currently in. So with multi-dimensions or, alternate planes of existence, these are other places, other ways of accessing the one that we're currently in. So when I say interdimensional beings, and I'm talking about like another plane of existence, for shadow people, and this is just a theory, it's just a thought, and I do reserve the right to change my mind.
That's why I like you guys so much, because you do, right, and you do admit it.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of I mean, right now it's all theories, because it's so hard to actually prove these beings exist. So, everything that we're talking about, and it humors me when people fight over this stuff, because it's like you're talking about stuff and fighting about things that neither one of you can actually truly prove. So
exactly,
what's the bother of fighting? And with Shadow People, it comes down to mostly with the event that happened with me at Johnny V's, which was a restaurant in Skokie, Oklahoma. And what happened there was we were just finishing up a investigation. Everybody was kind of milling about. They're sitting at tables. A couple were out in the restaurant area, a couple other were up to the bar. I decided I was going to do a last photo sweep and kind of walk around, take some more photographs. I walk into the kitchen through the main door, and I see this like black wisp just suddenly dart across the room, and you hear this slam of a door. There's a swinging metal door that's on that side of the room, and just bam, you hear it smack into it, but it doesn't move. And it's like, what in the world was that? Because you saw the thing, dart across the room, and you heard the slam of the door, but the door did not move. And it's just a flimsy door. It's really, really easy to do, kind of poke, and boom, the thing opens. So I exclaim out to everybody, hey, did you guys hear that? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, that was in here. I was just, trying to get some photos, and I described what happened. I started asking questions about, did you guys throw anything, or, whatever.
So for anybody listening, you heard it but did not see it.
Right. I heard it happen but did not see it happen.
That happens a lot.
And, Shauna was just saying that happens a lot, and it does.
Yeah.
We went over there, we start testing the door, how easy it is to just swing back and forth. And it's like, any type of like little poke on the door just made that thing fly because it was so light and flimsy. So my theory on that has become that, well, for one, obviously I scared it because I walked into the room and it just boom, took off. But perhaps on its plane of existence, it maybe saw me as the shadow or a ghost or something. It got scared. It ran off, and in its plane of existence, those doors, that door did actually move, and it made the big loud sound, and I heard that the sound of it echo and resonate from its plane of existence. I just didn't see the doors move because I couldn't see its plane of existence. So, it's highly theoretical, but that's kind of what I'm talking about when I'm referring to interdimensional beings, something that's not currently in our plane of existence, but can access it somehow.
So back to shadow people. Do you think they choose when to show themselves to you, or it just happens?
That's a good question. I think most times, yeah. I think sometimes they get a little caught off guard, and like that one at Johnny V's, I think I caught it off guard, and I was able to see it when it wasn't necessarily wanting to be seen. I think when they're more trying to interact with our realm, that's when we're able to see them a little bit more. And then when they're not intentionally trying to interact with us, not necessarily us, but anything around us, too, our dimension, then that's when we don't see them as much. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but just from my observations and from some of the different, people who have conveyed stories to me, that's kind of the way that I'm leaning. That we see them when they want to, not necessarily want to be seen by us, but want to interact with something in our environment.
Where you've had a lot of encounters with some type of shadow person, do you think they're more drawn to people that have seen them? And the second part to that would be, have you ever gotten an EVP besides the mechanical dysfunction there that has to do with it?
Right.
Shadow person? Sorry.
Yeah, no, I got it. Those are good questions. So my thought on that is that yes, but not just because you've seen them. It's not like one of those, oh, now you saw a shadow person, so you're going to, forever see shadow people. I think it's, you will, but I think it's because you're resonating on some sort of similar frequency as them. That
Wow.
your vibratory level is similar to their plane of existence, or whatever is going on there, like as far as like physical manifestations. And I think that's because we're resonating on some different levels there. As far as the other question with the EVPs from a shadow person or what, hard to know, because sometimes we get these EVPs and we're not sure of the source. Like, okay, we got a voice from somewhere.
Exactly.
Where did that come from? We don't know if there was maybe a shadow person lurking in the dark that we didn't see, and we got that EVP. But aside from the weird mechanical thing going on with the audio recorder, and I think that was just energy that it was picking up on. I don't know of an EVP that I have from an actual shadow person. Now, I've been on investigations where I've seen a shadow person, or some shadow play or what have you, and I've gotten some EVPs during that investigation, but not sure if it came from that entity or not. I was talking with Carl Johnson about this. This is a good question because he asked, back in July when I was at Ocean State Paracon, I was talking about shadow people. He asked me the question during my presentation if shadow people have a voice, and so it was a very good question. I'd never been asked something like that before, and we ended up having a discussion about it afterward. That they may not have a voice that we can hear. That we can hear with our own ears, because he's been doing this, since I've been born. He's been doing this a long time, and he doesn't recall any time hearing about a voice of a shadow person or a shadow person speaking. Or
I've never heard of it. Well,
right,
once, but I don't know how I feel about the one time I heard about it.
Yeah, so it's kind of almost like because of how far I've gone down the road with shadow people now and all that. It was almost kind of like he was tasking me with, hey, go find out. It's like, you're doing all this research on this, and it's not something that we know of right now. Nobody's ever heard of a voice of a shadow person. Go find out. And so that's one of the things. I have not seen a shadow person since then, on our couple of investigations since that time. But it's something I'm going to try to figure out.
Question from the chat room. Wolf, do you think shadow people attach themselves to people because of their emotions? Ooh, good question.
Interesting question.
Yeah.
And I'll have to say I don't know, because it's, shadow people are such a mystery, and we're still, trying to learn so many things about them. I mean, right now we've come down to like categorizing their characteristics and mannerisms and how they look and how they appear and stuff like that, and actions that they've done. But that's an element of shadow people, because people ask me, what do shadow people want? Why do they do what they do?
What do ghosts want? What do they do what they do?
Right.
We don't know.
And we really don't know. We have an idea that, sure, some of them are there to, frighten or scare, but we don't know why. We don't know what the motive is, but we know that some do that. We also know that some just kind of stand there and they look at you. Why? We don't know. Or that one peeking in at me when I was a teenager, and then it would run off. Why was it peeking in at me? I have no idea. So, as far as, shadow people attaching you because, for some emotional reason, I really have no idea. But it's something that, we continue to research and try to discover. I'd love to, because there are people out there saying, shadow people are that, and they do things because this. Like, we are going to have no idea until we actually sit down with a shadow person and interview one and ask, hey, what exactly are you? Why do you do these things? So a lot of it's speculation, and we're trying to come up with possible reasons based on our observations.
Thank you for listening, and for all things Paranormal Buzz Radio related, check out our website at paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram.